person or virtual. It means a lot to me and my team and all the hard work and all the student faculty. But I just want to show something that a really interesting project, a big important project to us. So just a little bit about myself. My name is Albert Zebby. I'm a senior here at Paris Valley. I wrestled here my freshman and sophomore year, and then my sophomore year I was varsity team captain. And then last summer, so summer of my senior year, I interned here at the Art Group, where I had the amazing opportunity to work on a remodel of a room in our school. So this room is located in the CT building, so it's StarTech. And just a little bit of info of the room. It was an old wood shop class that recently moved over to North Canyon. And our goal here is we want to revive this class and turn it into an environmental engineering class with Dr. Samuel. So just kind of the purpose of the redesign, I followed three core tenets throughout the design. One is first, I wanted to create a new workspace for aspiring engineers. All throughout my design, I wanted to create a spot, a room where students can find their passion just as I did in CREST. Anyone who's going through, whether it's engineering or whatever they might find, I want students to find that passion in this room. Second, have the room to be an icon of student enjoyment. A lot of students nowadays, they just go to class, sit in bleak rooms, and really don't form well, and they're just kind of sitting there throughout the class, uninterested. And we really want to change that with this room. We wanted the room to look good and perform good so students are able and they want to go to class. And lastly, we want to follow the tenets and celebrate the values of PV. We want this room to be an example of what CREST is and showing our PV pride. So this leads us to our floor plan and what it consists of. So the main engineering lab has 3 different levels of collaboration. So we have our main engineering area which can hold up to 36 students. We have some smaller collaboration spaces with desks and seats and chairs. And then we have this large-scale conference collaboration space where students can go and have meetings, and it's also being partitioned by an architectural wall that's able to divide the two different parts of the room. So the collaboration and then the main engineering lab. Some other features of the room are a robotics lab where our team Paradise can be at, and then a maker space. So this is kind of similar to the workshop we have, so where students can go and build and 3D print whatever projects they need. And then we tie together with 2 different experiment areas. So one on the south wall, where the main experiments will be taking place, and one on the west wall. So now I just want to show a video of a 3D view of the class so we can kind of orient ourselves with what it entails. So now we're looking into the main engineering part where this teaching is going to be. We see desks. We can take a glimpse at that wall that partitions the 2 sections of the class. Spinning around, we can take a view at the robotics lab, and then we're going to be finishing up in the same place, taking a view into the conference space. Right. So this next video here, a couple weeks ago we walked the site with McCarthy and Ms. Wolf and some other faculty, and we really wanted to show this video the before and after. So this is the original room, how it is in its current state, and we're going to be walking through it in its proposed state. So as a student would in their class. So student just got into class, now they're walking to their desk, taking a look into the main space. You can see the seating. As we walk through, we can take a peek at that architectural wall. So we have a frame around it to emphasize the importance of the wall and show where people should look and show the difference between the 2 spaces. Now going around the current room, see. Now as we kind of circle back around, we're taking a look at the back wall where the experiment area is going to be. So where all the main experiments are going to happen, all students can test. So we're going to be circling around and back again. Taking another view from the back of the classroom, how it would be the students sitting down and teaching or learning. Going around. Again, seeing that wall not only divides the 2 spaces, but adds emphasis to the learning environment. As students really pay attention to the space there. As we're walking around now, I like to point out some smaller collaboration spaces with couches and chair and tables. Now we're we have a view into the robotics lab. So we centered the robotics ring just for accessibility. It's a previous experience for me and other classmates. Working with robotics is a challenge, and having easy access to robots is key for us. Now we're going to finish up in the conference space. I'd like to point out a couple things. We have the separators, so they're belt-based, and they easily can be moved in and out. They allow for pinning, and then one thing, last thing in the room is we highlighted the space with red acoustic baffles. So a bit about these baffles, they provide acoustic value since the room is open, but we also want to add them so they celebrate the space and bring attention to the space. So just after the walkthrough, I'd like to point out some of the materials that are going to be used throughout the class and their explanation. So starting from the bottom to the top, we have our flooring. So we went for an epoxy resin floor. Not only that it fits with the environmental engineering theme, but it's also very practical. And we have two different colors. Second is the paint. So the room is a majority white room, and we strategically use two different types of grays, so dark gray and light gray, to highlight the focal points of the room. So for example, going back to the main wall on that top left photo, we want to highlight that space to show separation, show that that is an important space. And then also in the back area, also is visible in the top left, you can see that experiment area is that dark gray to re-emphasize that. That's an important spot for people to understand. Next up, we have a maple plastic laminate that's going to be used throughout all the cabinets and the tables throughout the room. We wanted to keep something that's in line with current stuff we have at PV and in the CREST workshop that we have currently right down the hall. And lastly, we finish off with the red felt apples. So we really added them to celebrate the space and add the acoustic value, and to bring some sort of PV identity into the space with the bright red. So this leads me to the next steps of this project. So the project is still currently in design. My team and I have been working with McCarthy and faculty and Mrs. Folk to iron out a few differences and pinpointing price, but this is a very late stage rendering and something that will be very achievable in the classroom in the future once completed. So that leads me to the questions in my presentation.
What were the yellow circles in the main classroom?
Yes. So those yellow circles are cord reels, so they're drop down receptacles, so you see it.
I'm just thinking from a safety perspective, where are your sinks and eye wash?
So I'm just gonna head back to the floor plan. So head back. The sink is gonna be right on that west wall there as a floor, and also the eye wash is gonna be an eye wash attachment to the sinks.
So just one sink for an environmental sustainability lab?
It's one sink but with 4 different faucets.
We're still selecting equipment, but we do have some restrictions of where our water sources are coming
The
from.
4 little dots that are here on the.
Yeah. There will be some counter space between the sinks. We're still selecting the actual equipment for that, but it will be in a row on that wall to work with where our water source and our drains are.
Yeah.
What kind of equipment will be in the makerspace?
So the makerspace currently is going to be a lot of 3D printing. So we're moving 3D printing stuff over there, and some other tools that are going to be in the storage room. So that culminates in the makerspace.
Was Dr. Samuels also involved in the design?
Yes.
She was involved, so, I met with Dr. Samuels and we created a program. And then, I walked the space with, so my background is architecture. I did that for 20 years before education. My husband is an architect. So we informally walked the space and looked at, issues, looked at Dr. Samuels' program, and then we took that and we met with DOR, and they took it from there and started.
So Alan, what did you learn that you didn't already know how to do?
So I'd say the most challenging thing is really, in the architecture class here at PV is we're working with a lot of residential and buildings, and really working on a school is a whole different ballgame. You got to students move and how students lay out the classroom, how different colors act together, and how different parts of the room will change with it. And also just the program, Enscape. So this is a rendering from Enscape. I've never used it before until my internship, so that was a decent learning curve for that. And all the documentation and making sheets, it's a whole different ballgame compared to school and doing it in the real field.
So can I just say, wow? It is incredible to watch what you all, especially in the past couple of years, have done to make CREST such a vital part of Paradise Valley High School. The vision that we had never extended to something as incredible as this. So kudos to you for putting this together and for making Paradise Valley High School, which is the love of my life, come into this kind of fruition. What are the classes that will be taught in this classroom?
So it's going to be Dr. Samuel's new classroom, so probably all of her other engineering classes alongside the new class.
So this one of the things about re-envisioning learning environments and making them flexible. So part of her program is she needs to teach environmental engineering. So she needs traditional laboratory style spaces. She also teaches digital electronics. She's an advisor for the robotics desk team. She does the capstone program, which could be anything. So to say they need to be flexible is an understatement. So her program was flexibility, just because it said flexible, right at the top. And so can you move furniture around? Where are kids going to store things? Digital electronics is going to have different lines of working on environmental engineering. Where are they going to put where are they going to have their supplies? Where are they going to have their, and move the furniture around to make it work. Also, we have 2 senior capstone classes in the other building we expanded over there, and do not currently have the flexible spaces available for capstone collaboration opportunities. So by having this over in that building, we're across from what is our rebound to the precision achievement program, and downstairs from computer science, and on level with our building to go back and forth. We're trying to really carry the rest of the learners around, but she loves.
Okay, so are these, is this classroom only going to be for CREST students?
Well, it's going to be for those classes.
And those classes are only available
Those classes are
Anything else?
I also just want to say that, we walked aside with McCarthy, and then the next day they were like, hey, Alan, how about you jump into this classroom? And he took it right on. Like, when I say that he had the skills of being able to use Revit, so Revit is the software that we use to document, to draw floor plans, to draw, and so I was very surprised at the skill level that we already possessed, which I was amazed because we have students from ASU who are ready to have yet to grasp that Revit, they use that software. And Alan, high school student, was like, oh yeah, like totally Revit, I would be proper training into it, and I started drawing walls and doors, and I was amazed. I was like, okay, and then, we would talk about it, and Alan brought his ideas, and we would sometimes like clash a little bit, but, I love that because it meant that he wanted to make sure he was voicing his opinion as a student here in our high school. So it's been a pleasure working with him. He's been practical, very, very just like quick in his ways, and so
Yeah, Alan's been amazing. He's really he had to give every presentation to us every time to discuss it.
we forced it, like.
Ray has been an amazing partner. Paul is an amazing partner. So just great gratitude to all of you, and gratitude to Melissa, our teacher, who's not here, but she was able to allocate money for us. So most of it, we really like it. We're short of it.
Yes.
This is kind of an abbreviated presentation. Alan gave a full design presentation.
that's not, that's not by accident. If you listen to all three of those CREST students in this room, very clear, very articulate, well spoken. They spend from their freshman year on